In British Columbia, scientists are raising the alarm that old-growth forests are reaching crisis levels. But the logging industry continues to harvest these rare and endangered forests at a rate of 34 soccer fields per day. Not only does the BC government continue to allow the logging of old-growth forests, but its own logging agency, BC Timber Sales, has been at the forefront of some of the most controversial old-growth logging in recent memory. In May 2019, Sierra Club BC and Wilderness Committee campaigners embarked on field assessments on northeastern Vancouver Island, in Tlowitsees and Gila Territory, to document the most recent old-growth logging by BC Timber Sales in the Upper Sitka and Schmidt Creek valleys. Also on the journey were archaeologist and culturally modified tree expert Jacob Earnshaw, as well as Gila sovereigntist Dakota Smith. This was Dakota's first time witnessing the logging activity in this part of his ancestors' territories.
My name is Dakota Smith. I'm from the Gila tribe. My grandfather was Basil Ambers. He was a hereditary Gila chief who spent his lifetime fighting the logging industry and advocating for Gila rights. As we can see, it's been total devastation along these territories. And the important thing is to get this out there, because it's not what our ancestors wanted. It's not what my grandfather wanted. It's very much something that he wanted to protect.
This drainage and this larger landscape in Tlowitsees and Gila Territory, it's some of the last contiguous remaining old-growth forests connected to larger chunks or larger valleys that are intact and have fully functioning ecosystems at play here. So we wanted to see it firsthand. It's really important to bear witness to this type of environmental degradation, and we're going to be doing a lot more of this soon. We're down in Naka Creek, nice little estuary in Johnson Strait. We'll go explore all of these watersheds that flow down into Johnson Strait eastward off the slope of Vancouver Island down into the Inside Passage. So right now, for the first part of the day, we'll do a little bit of work looking through some BC Timber Sales blocks that have high potential for culturally modified trees and do a bit of an archaeological assessment.
Culturally modified trees are generally red and yellow cedars that have had their bark stripped by Indigenous peoples for cultural uses, such as the weaving of traditional baskets and hats. Bark stripping is a key way of identifying areas that were occupied and utilized by coastal First Nations.
So we're on the east side of the Naka Creek, and we came up here to check out this block that's behind me, and we weren't sure if it was going to be logged or not, and it is. So we came and checked out the clear cut and the edge anyway to see if there's any culturally modified trees or evidence of bark stripping. We didn't find any in the block, which is good. So we cut into the forest and to a terrace above the creek.
As we descended into the unlogged stream buffer, directly adjacent to the clear cut, Jacob soon discovers a stand of red cedar with telltale signs of Indigenous bark stripping.
Two backside and front side and a scar crust. So this is like 100%. Yeah, it looked like there might have been another one just slightly further past the other one. It's another really good one.
I know my people have been in these territories for thousands of years, and to see the proof, to see the evidence, the cedar bark stripping, it's just like walking with my ancestors in a way, because they're here. And they've always been here. And this is their home.
Because I'm confident that it's an archaeological site and not just natural scarring, I'll bring it to the archaeology branch and report it as an archaeological site and submit all my data and photos, and it'll become hopefully a protected site.
Driving through a lot of the clear cuts, the old ones, the old blocks, and they're all dead, it's not as bad. But when we We went up towards that one where they had just finished recently, and all the trees were still all across the road, and they were still wet. That was really hard.
So we're here in Schmidt Creek on northeastern Vancouver Island. This is BC timber sales area, logged in the last few months of 2018 and the first half year of 2019. And this is unacceptable. This is something that we need to be phasing out as fast as we can across this coast, and to see the BC NDP government doubling down on this and logging valley after valley after valley is extremely frustrating. That one right there, that yellow cedar stump, has 600 rings.
Those trees, they could have been there for hundreds more years. They could have been there for canoes, for masks, for totem poles. To think that it would have to be another 600 years at least for the small cedars to grow to appropriate size for carving, we might lose that cultural knowledge before we're ever able to harvest it again, if it doesn't go extinct.
This is all BC timber sales, all awarded under the current government.
Feeling sufficiently depressed from driving through all these clear cuts, we decided to end our trip by visiting a tiny block of valley bottom old growth in nearby Tessium Creek.
So we're in a little valley called Tessium Creek, and this entire watershed has been logged from the creek bottom about halfway up the valley. All the prime old growth, all the most important habitat for endangered species, the most important forest type for cultural resources, for carbon sequestration, and the entire bottom of the valley has been taken. And over my shoulder here, you can see the last stand of old growth forest in this entire watershed at low elevation, and it's being targeted by the BC government's own logging agency, BC Timber Sales.
Like, it's just like monumental cedar after monumental cedar.
It's beautiful being here. It's like blood memory, you know. I'm where I should be. And breaks my heart to think about what we had to come through to get here. It's very emotional. It's a living place. Right here is a living place. You know, you can hear streams and the birds singing, and when you breathe in, you can smell the trees breathing. It's magnificent out here. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's a complete opposite from what we just came from. It was like a tree graveyard. So coming into here, it's like well-needed medicine. I want to see these trees used for their intended purposes. I want them to breathe life into our big houses again and onto the oceans. I want them to be here for the next generation, for my grandchildren. I don't want my grandchildren to have to pick up the fight that I picked up from my grandfather. And so to see this forest come alive again would be a beautiful thing. That's what I want to see.
The science is clear. Just a tiny fraction of the most productive old-growth forest remains in BC. And without action from the BC government, the rest will soon be logged. Once these forests are gone, they will not return. The time is now to bring an end to old-growth logging in British Columbia.